Hi folks, this is Karim Rao from IT Visual Alert channel. They will continue our lab, the Red Alert Lab. This is the video number 79. I've been discussing in the previous video the following. We have created a Russian workstation in the Russian army, okay, and we are trying to join this workstation to the domain redalert.internal so we can see the different group policies and different Active Directory login scripts to be applied to this machine. And to apply this group policies and the scripts on different users. So we have different group policies and different scripts applied to different users, not to all users the same. So we have tried this. We have created the Russian workstation and joined it to the domain, and then we begin to see if the Russian users logging into this machine will see certain things. One of these things, for example, the background should be the Russian army flag, okay? So we need to see this, and we need to see that the users or the Russian users logging into this Russian workstation should see the Russian keyboard installed, and they should see the time zone to be reflected, or the time zone to be of the Russian country. So all of this we have seen in the previous video. We tried to see all of these things to be applied, but there was a certain error. None of these things was implemented. Some of them was implemented actually. One of them is the Russian keyboard, the time zone, but the background was not applied. So we need to see what was the problem, why the Russian flag army was not set as a background for the Russian users try to log into this Russian workstation. And we will try to rectify some or to change some group policies to do certain changes. For example, I need the welcome message or the warning message on both the Japanese armies and the Russian army. This warning message to be displayed with the country language. For example, the warning message on a Japanese machine should be displayed in Japanese language, and the warning message on a Russian workstation should be displayed in Russian language. So this need to be implemented. So I need to modify my group policies applied to the Russian workstations and the Japanese workstations. And another thing, I need to force the Russian language to be the default Windows display language for all of the Russian workstations in the Russian organizational unit. So any user that will log in on a Russian workstation should see the Windows displayed in Russian language, and the same should be done for the Japanese workstation. Okay, so we need also to do this by using a group policy. So we will do a lot of things. Actually, most of it will be correcting some group policies and changing some group policies to have different results, or to have certain results. So let's see how we can do this. First of all, we need to open the VM Workstation Pro. This is the program, and then we need to open our domain controller and the POW, the privilege access workstation, to access through this workstation the domain controller. Okay, so we can open the Active Directory, and this is actually a very special workstation that's its sole purpose to connect to the domain controller only. We have said before that this workstation is secured. It is not facing the internet. There is a lot of security measures to be put on this machine, okay, to secure its access to the Active Directory or to the domain controller. Anyway, so we have opened the domain controller. Then we need to open the POW workstation, and then we need to see why Russian users, when accessing Russian workstations that have joined the redalert.internal domain, they don't see the Russian flag as their background. So we will see that in a moment. Here, this is my domain admin account, and let's see the group policies. We need to open the Russian GPO or the Russian group policy and see why the background as a Russian flag is not applied. So here we will open the console, red alert console.msc. This is a custom console. Then we need to see the Russian group policy to make sure why the background is not displayed. will take a little bit of time. I think maybe we can wait for a moment. Now we'll pause the video, and then here is the console. Then we will try to open the Russian GPO. Okay, we open the group policy objects, and then we will open the Russian GPO. This is applied to the Russian army. Anyway, we will open the Allied GPO or the American group policy to just make sure that our settings are correct. We're just opening it as a reference for me to do the same on the Russian group policy. Okay, so we open policies. Then I think we will open administrative templates, and then we will see the personalization section to see, I think, the background. Okay, so we'll open administrative templates just to make sure that, or to make this as a reference to see the section of personalization where I think the desktop wallpaper is applied. But I think it's not from the computer configuration, it's from the user configuration. Anyway, so I think I will go to the control panel maybe. So here I am just rectifying my error. So I am going to the users configuration, administrative templates, and through the desktop we will see, or so desktop or control panel, then personalization, we will see that not this one, we will see that through desktop, then desktop, here we can enable desktop wallpaper. So this is the section where we can force a certain desktop wallpaper to be applied to certain workstations. So here this is for the Ally background. Let's see the same section but in the Russian GPO and see if we have it applied or not. So we will open user configuration, then we will open policies, then administrative template, then we will see the desktop section, then desktop. Here we'll see that desktop wallpaper is not activated, so we need to open it and point to a certain file or a certain picture to be applied to on all of the Russian workstations as wallpaper. So here I'm just revising my here, for example, you can prohibit changes. So if you can tell him, if you don't need anyone to change the background, you can open or enable this policy, prohibit changes. Anyway, the picture that will be applied to the Russian workstation as a background, it is in a shared folder on the domain controller. It's this shared folder is backgrounds, and in it there is a folder named USSR, and this is the picture background will be applied to all of the Russian workstations. So we need to go to the group policy and tell him desktop wallpaper enable, and go and apply this picture in this location and stretch it. So you can do a lot of things. You can center the picture, you can stretch it along the display. So we need to stretch it to make it full on the display. So now we are configuring the desktop wallpaper section for the Russian workstation. So here is my problem. I didn't configure the desktop wallpaper section in the Russian group policy. So this is why Russian users didn't see their flag as a desktop wallpaper on the Russian workstation. So now we have rectified this error. Now we need to change the warning message for all workstations, not for all workstation, warning message to be displayed in Japanese on the Japanese workstations, and to be displayed in Russian on the Russian workstations. Here I am opening the default domain policy. We have a certain background to be applied in the default domain policy anyway. So I think now we need to change the language of the warning message on the Japanese workstations to be in Japanese language, and on Russian workstations to be in Russian language. So we will take the warning message and translate it on Google to two languages, Japanese and Russian. Okay, so here what I'm doing here, I think I'm just revising the personalization section. Here I need to see if I need to prohibit changes to the desktop wallpaper. So I'm just revising other group policies just to make sure everything is correct. Here I'm just revising the screensaver. So here, for example, you cannot change the screensaver. So I think this can be done also for the desktop wallpaper anyway. So now we need to go and open the default domain policy. Remember that I have the warning message to be displayed in English on all of the workstations. This is implemented by the default domain policy. So we should disable the warning message on the default domain policy, disable it completely, and configure it one by one, or configure it on the three armies GPOs, on the American GPO, on the Russian GPO, and on the Japanese GPO. Anyway, where is the warning message? If we go to the security options, then we will go to the section of, let's go further, go to section message package or interactive login. Here we can see this is the language, and this is implemented by the default domain policy, so this will be applied to all workstations. This is not correct. We need to take the message, translate it to Japanese and Russian, and put it in each army group policy, and then disable this section in the default domain policy, because the default domain policy will be applied on all workstations. Okay, so we should disable this section and configure it in the Russian GPO and in the Japanese GPO. So first of all, we need to take this section and translate it to Japanese. This is the first thing, and then we translate it to Russian language. So now we will open my Brave browser and then go to Google Translate and translate the message to Japanese, and then translate it to Russian. Okay, so now we go to Google Translate, and then can tell him translate. This is a very simple thing to do. Actually, these small details, this is the thing that will make you a professional IT, just to concentrate and focus on the small details. Okay, these are small details that will enhance your work performance. Okay, so now I think we need to tell him to translate. So here I tell him to translate, and then press enter. Then we'll put the text here. This is in English, and then we'll translate it to Japanese. Okay, so this is the first language to translate it to Japan or Russian. Okay, then we will copy the translation and put it in the Russian GPO. Okay, so here we will copy. Here we can copy it from here, from this icon. Okay, copy. Translation is copied. Then we will go to the Russian GPO in the same section, in security options, in the same two sections here, and then configure it. So here this is the Russian GPO. Then we go to the computer configuration, and then Windows setting, and then go to security. Okay, and then go to local policies, security options. Then we go to the interactive login message and interactive login text or title text or message title. So now here we go, we have configured the message. Then we need to, or we translated the message or the body of the message, then we need to translate the title or the message title. Okay, so this is the one, red alert zone, copy, and then we need to translate the same, or the red alert zone, this is translated in Russian, and then we will put it as the message title. So there is the message body and the message title. We go to the Russian no, this is for the default domain policy. So we go to the message title in the Russian GPO and then put the translated, the red alert zone phrase to be in Russian. Now we will do the same but for the Japanese group policy, EOTS, or Empire of the Sun. This is reflecting the Japanese. And now we will go to the policy section the same, and we will open the Windows setting, and then we will configure the message or the warning message title to be in Japanese. So we have security setting, then local policies, and then security options. Then we need to go to the message text and then the message title. But before that we need to translate the message title to Japanese, then the message body to Japanese. So now we will put the same, okay, so, or we can go and just change the language to Japan or Japanese. Yes, here's the Japanese. So now we can copy it and then put it as the message text or the message title. Here we go to the Japanese GPO. Okay, this is the title. Okay, and then apply and OK. Remember to disable these two group policies in the default domain policy, because the default domain policy will override any domain policy. Okay, we will see that if I left this and left the two GPOs, the Russian GPO and the Japanese GPO, the messages will not be translated or will not be displayed in the army language. Okay, so this is the Japanese language. So you are taking the text and then translate it to Japanese and then apply and OK. So now we have translated these two or the messages, but take care, we need to go to the default domain policy and disable these two messages. Okay, because they have already been applied or they have been configured in the Japanese GPO and in the Russian GPO. Okay, anyway, so we can continue. Here is something also, I need the Russian language to be the default Windows display language for all users on all the Russian workstations. This also will be configured from a certain group policy, and this also can be done for the Japanese users on the Japanese workstations. This can be done for every army. Okay, but let's see how we can do this. First of all, I think we can pass it real quickly. So let's continue. Now we will go to the section of the language. Here this is the, I think, the Japanese language, maybe, oh sorry, the Japanese GPO. I think, yes, this is Japanese GPO. So here in this section, in a certain section, we will configure the language or the Windows display language. Let me show you all where we can configure this section. So I think here I'm trying to control panel, then regional and language options. This is the one. Okay, we need to configure this section. This is the Japanese GPO. We need to do this for the Russian GPO first, and then do the same for the Japanese GPO. But anyway, the Japanese workstations have already the Windows displayed in Japanese because I have installed it in Japanese language. Anyway, so this is a way you can force a certain language to be the default Windows display language. Anyway, so we'll go to the Russian GPO and then take care, we'll go to the control panel, then regional language options, restrict the user interface language for Windows users, or they restrict the UI language Windows uses for all logged users. So the user interface language should, from here you can configure it to be a certain language. So here we'll enable, tell him we need to restrict users to see the Windows in a certain language. This is in the Russian language. Okay, so this is how we can force a certain language to be the display language for the user. So this is the Russian language, and then apply and OK. This is the one you need to apply this or to configure this group policy. The second one, force selected system UI language to override the user UI language. This is opposite of this one. So for example, if you have set the user interface language to Russian and the default system language is English, okay, so by configuring this group policy, the English will be overriding the Russian language. So for example, the user having the Russian language as his default user interface language, and the default system user interface language is English. By configuring this one, it will override, or it will delete, or it will disable this one. So do not use both. You should use one of them. Okay, so here I have a mistake. I should only configure this one and not configuring this one. Okay, so this is one thing to take into consideration. You should not use, or you should not enable this option. Okay, so this is to force the system or the default system UI language to be overriding any user selected interface language. Okay, tamam. So this is the one we will do this for the Russian army, we'll do this for the Japanese army, we can do this also for the American army. If you need to force all of these languages to be a certain Windows display language. Anyway, I don't need to do this because for the Japanese army, I have already all of the Windows displayed in Japanese. I don't have any language. Okay, it's all in Japanese. Okay, so you can go to the control panel, do the same for the Japanese, and then after that we will test these group policies one by one to see if they are applied or not. So now we go to the regional, and then we will configure this one to be for enable, and then Japanese, or in Japanese language. So we can go further. Okay, here we can see where is Japanese. I think it's up, maybe. Yes, it is Japanese. This is the first one after English, and then we will configure this one. And remember not to configure the one below. Okay, this will disable the above GPO. Okay, so now we need to test and see all of these settings. So we will close all of these and then try to open the Russian workstation and the Japanese workstation and see the result. But here there is a mistake. We didn't disable the warning message in the default domain policy. We have a warning message configured in the Japanese GPO in Japanese, and in the Russian GPO in Russian, but still we have the default domain policy. Also the warning message is configured in English language. The default domain policy will win the situation. It will override the Russian GPO and the Japanese GPO. So let's now close this workstation and then try the Russian army and Japanese army. First we need to see also if the Russian army, we can see the Russian background displayed. So this is one thing also we need to see if our Russian GPO is applied correctly after we have changed it. So now we will open the airplane 54. This is the Russian GPO, Russian workstation. But before that, I think I will open the second domain controller, or the additional domain controller, which is in the same time acting as DHCP and acting as file server. So this is very important for this workstation to access the domain. Okay, the DHCP should be up and running, and to access the file shares, the file server should be up and running. So now we will power on this virtual machine and try to log in with Russian users on this machine and see if the Russian flag will be displayed as a wallpaper. So let's now open it and then try and see. So here we can see the first thing, that the warning message or the welcome message is still in English. This is I have said before, because the default domain policy, the warning message is still not deactivated. So we will deactivate it and see. Now this is the first thing, the warning message is not displayed in Russian language. So this means there is something with our group policy. Now we will log in with one user and see the background to see if the background it will be displayed as the Russian flag. So let's wait and see. So I think now maybe now we will tell him okay. So if we go further, and then pause the video, here we can see that the Russian flag is displayed as a background, so this means our group policy is correct. But here we can see that the display language is in English, not in Russian. So this is also another thing, our group policy is not applied. The regional language group policy is not applied, and the warning message is not displayed in Russian. So these are two things. So we need to go furthermore I need to go and configure another thing. Or let me show you all what we will do. We can go further, and then we can go further. We go to the POW, and then we need to change the group policy. So let's go and rectify this error. Okay, we need to see the Russian language as the default display language for all of the users, the Russian users on the Russian workstations, and we need to also see the warning message in Russian. So let's see how we will configure or rectify this error. So now what I have done here, I am going to my group policy management console, and then we will open, I think, the maybe the Russian GPO. Let's wait for a moment, the default domain policy, and then we will disable the warning message. So let's continue, guys. Here we'll disable the warning message on the default domain policy, so the display or the warning message will be displayed correctly on the Russian workstation and on the Japanese workstation. So we can continue. Let me go to security. Yes, security, and then go to the local, and then go security options, and then we should disable these two setting, okay, because the default domain policy override any domain policy. Okay, so now I think no, I need to disable it. No, I don't know what I'm doing here. I think yes, here first I need to as for my POW workstation, I need also the warning message to be displayed on it. So what I'm doing here, I am configuring the warning message on the Ally GPO to be in English, and then my POW will have the Ally GPO applied on it, I think. No, what I'm doing here, I'm just configuring the Ally GPO in English, so the American Army will see also the message in English, because I will disable the default domain policy warning message, okay, section. So I need every army to have his warning messages in his language. So I have done this for the Russian GPO and Japanese GPO. This will be done also for the Ally GPO, okay, and then I will have a special GPO to be applied to my POW workstation, so I can see the warning message in English. Okay, so now we are just configuring it on the Ally army. Okay, so we have every army to see his language, or to see his warning message in his language. So copy, and then we need to do this, yes, and then we will disable these two sections on the default domain policy. Okay, and actually also I will configure the warning message on the default domain controllers policy. This will be applied to the domain controllers, so the warning message also will be applied to the domain controllers, and it will be in English. Okay, so here I'm just telling every set of servers and set of workstations to have the warning message displayed on them in a certain language. Okay, so now we'll do this for the default domain controllers group policy. These are applied to the domain controllers. Okay, so we are doing the same. So we have this for the Ally GPO, for the Russian GPO, for the Japanese GPO, for the default domain controllers GPO, and after that I will disable the default domain policy section concerning the message text and the message title. Okay, so now we have done this. Now let's disable this. Okay, so we'll go to the default domain policy. I think still I have the default domain policy. As for my POW, I will create a GPO for my POW so I can display my warning message on my POW to be in English. So this can be configured on a separate group policy. So I think now we can pass this real quickly. So here I will tell him POW global. Okay, I have configured the group policy. Let's go furthermore. So what we will do here, we will go to the again. So we're just doing some changes. No, we will go to, or we'll create a new group policy to be applied to my POW. Okay, to display the warning message in English. Okay, so we'll make a new group policy. Or we can configure it on this POW group policies, but I will make a separate one. You can configure, it's not good to make a separate GPO for a certain setting. Okay, we can configure it more settings in one GPO. So with this GPO global, and through this I will configure the warning message to be in English language. Okay, and this will be applied to my POW workstation. Okay, so now I can open it and configure it as the rest of the GPOs. So now we'll open it, and then policies, and then Windows setting. Okay, and then security, and then local policies. Okay, and then security options. We'll configure this the same, this to be applied to my POW workstation. So now we have all of the warning messages to be applied to all kinds of servers, or especially to the domain controllers, all of the workstations of the Russian army in Russian, all of the workstations in Japanese army in Japanese, all of the ally workstations in English. Okay, so now we have this, and this also will be applied to my POW, because my POW I don't have any army group policy applied to my POW. Okay, so I am doing a separate GPO to my POW. Okay, so now I will, so now here I just need to link it to my existing, or link it to this OU. Just wait for a moment, guys. So let's continue, guys. Now I'm linking this group policy to my POW workstation. So here I am just confirming that all of the warning messages will be displayed on different devices in my network. So now I think we can pass this real quickly. Just so now what I'm doing here, now we will go to the default domain policy. Here just configuring checking that my POW is in the right OU. Now I will go to default domain policy and then disable. Okay, disable these two things. Okay, and then we will see if the warning messages will be displayed correctly in each army workstation. And we need to also say the default need to see the display language also. We correct this error. Don't know what I'm doing here. Anyway, so I think maybe let's go further back. Let's go further. Okay, so just here also I'm doing this for the ally army to restrict the UI language to be in English. Just wait for a moment. Here we will configure this to be in English, so every army will have a certain user interface language to be in his language. We need to disable this option on all of the Russian GPO or group policy and the Japanese GPO. So this will correct the error that I am seeing, or to correct why the UI or the user interface language of Windows is not displayed. So what we will do here, we'll go to the administrative templates, not security. Okay, we are doing here, we're not going to the correct section. Okay, so we'll go to the administrative templates control panel. Okay, and here we need to disable this one. Okay, disable this one. Here we need to disable it, not configured. We'll do this for the Russian GPO and for the ally GPO, and then we will see the result. So let's go and see the result after doing this. Now what we will do, we have opened, just wait for a moment, guys. Now again we will go and open the Russian workstation and see the result. First of all, the first thing we will see that the warning message will be displayed in Russian. So this means that our group policy is working perfectly. Let's see if the interface of the windows will be in Russian or not. So if we go to IT AW admin 11, and then this is a user, or this is a local administrator account on this machine, let's see if the Windows interface or the user interface will be displayed in Russian. Okay, we tell him okay, then let's have a look. Now let's wait. Here we can see that it is in Russian. Okay, so that means that our group policy is applied correctly. Okay, this is complete, or this is correct. We can try different users, so I can log in with different users, and also we can see different file shares. So if you go where we can see this, it is in Russian. If you go further, okay, go further, here it is in Russian. So we can see this, all of this in Russian. So we can sign out and log in with another user. Here we can see this is completely in Russian. So now we will use another user and see if he will have also the Russian language as his default display language. This is very, very clear. Here we can see this all in Russian. Okay, that means that the Windows itself, it is already changed to Russian display language because of the group policy that we have used. Okay, so if we go further, now we can see also this is in Russian. We can try different users and see see the same result. Okay, so this is one of the things. So we can sign out. Okay, and then I think here also I can show you all. Here I am signing out and closed this Russian workstation. We will go to the Japanese workstation. Let's see if here we can see here the warning message in English. This is not because the group policy is not configured, but because the group policy is not refreshed or it is not re-implemented. Okay, so we will see a command we can issue from the command prompt to reapply the group policies on this workstation, so the warning message will be displayed in Japanese. So here I'm logging in with an admin account. If you go there, now we can open the run command. Let me show you also. First of all, we need to take a moment, and then here we will open the run, or we open here and then tell him run, or search for the run, tell him run, and then type cmd run. Okay, and then we will type the command cmd, and then this is the run. Okay, this is to reapply the Japanese GPO, which contains the warning message in Japanese language. So we tell him cmd, okay, and then press enter, and then we will type gp update /force. This will reapply all of the group policies concerning this workstation. Okay, and he will tell you, okay, there is one group policy that you should log off and log in, so the group policy will be implemented. Okay, let's see after that if the warning message will be displayed in Japanese or not. So this will take a moment. Let's wait for a moment. Here telling us to restart or to log out and log in back, so all of the GPOs will be reapplied. Some of them are reapplied and some of them need the user to log off to be applied. Okay, so let's see, or wait for a moment and see the result. So this will log off the user, and then let's see the warning message if it is applied or not. So here we can see, if you tell him Control Alt Delete, here it is in Japanese language, so this means our group policy is applied correctly. So hope this video is informative for you all. Do not forget to subscribe to the channel and share and like and comment on the video. Okay, hope this video was informative for you all, and thank you all for viewing. The next video we will concern or work more on configuring more group policies, and we will work on more different topics. Thank you so much.